Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into something that's changing the tech world like crazy. Artificial intelligence, yeah.
Yeah.
And to really get the inside scoop, we're going to be looking at
an interview.
yeah, a Bloomberg Technology interview with Andy Jassy.
Amazon CEO.
Exactly, Amazon CEO. And it's really amazing how candid he is about Amazon's ambitions when it comes to AI. He's basically saying, get ready, because AI is going to touch every single part of your Amazon experience.
Wow.
From the moment you start shopping to
Yeah.
like the movies you stream, everything.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting. What really stood out to me was how he's not just talking about AI as like a,
With a fad.
yeah, fad, like some trendy little add-on.
Right.
He really sees it as the core of Amazon's future.
Yeah.
And he's saying there's this huge wave of new AI applications coming that are going to totally change how we interact with technology.
Oh, like across the board?
Yeah, across the board, completely.
It's wild. And he even uses this analogy. I thought this was so interesting about how...
Oh, about the scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scientists being surprised by how quickly their AI models are improving themselves. It's like they're almost teaching themselves.
That's a good point. And that ties into something really important with this type of AI, this generative AI.
Yeah.
It's all about AI creating new content like text or images.
Even code.
Even code.
Yeah, from what it's learned from massive data sets.
Exactly. And it doesn't just happen once. It keeps learning and improving.
That's the key.
And Amazon's putting their money where their mouth is. Jassy straight up admits they're spending a lion's share
Lion's share.
of their capital expenditures on AI.
That's huge.
Huge commitment to building this whole AI infrastructure, not just one-off apps.
Yeah, and that kind of investment makes sense when you think about what they're doing with their new AI assistant,
Alexa Plus.
Alexa Plus.
Yeah, Jassy says it's a total game changer, the first really practical, large-scale example of general AI aimed at consumers.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Instead of just asking Alexa to set a timer or something, you could potentially have a full-blown conversation with Alexa Plus about
Anything.
Yeah, literally anything.
It learns and adapts.
To way more tasks than we've ever seen before.
It's like having...
It's like something out of a movie.
Exactly. A truly intelligent assistant.
Right in your home.
I like how you put that. And that's not even all.
What else?
Jassy also dropped some hints about new ways to get access to Alexa Plus.
Oh, interesting.
He's talking about subscription models, maybe even price increases for Amazon Prime.
Oh, wow. It sounds like they're betting big that people are willing to pay for this lover of AI.
Are going all in.
All in. And that actually leads to another really fascinating point.
What's that?
They are pouring serious money into AI.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Over 50% of their capital expenditures.
It's funny. We actually played a little
game
of warmer, colder, with Jassy trying to get a more precise number.
Oh, trying to pin him down.
That's exact.
And then he stayed tight-lipped, huh?
Oh, yeah, totally tight-lipped. But even without knowing the exact figure, this is major.
Huge statement. They are not messing around. They're going all in.
Yeah. It's not just a side project.
They are building the foundation for a future where AI is everywhere, woven into every part of their business and probably our lives too. But there's a challenge, he admits.
Oh, yeah, this is the big one.
Could really throw a wrench in their plans.
Chip shortage.
Chip shortage affects everyone, the entire tech world.
It's like a bottleneck holding back AI's potential.
Yeah, and Jassy even said that the demand for chips is insatiable. AI could be growing even faster if they just had all the computing power they needed.
That's crazy to think about. It's like...
It really highlights how much AI relies on these physical resources.
So we need the hardware.
Yeah. Imagine trying to run a marathon with, weights strapped to your ankles.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
That's what it's like for AI development without enough chips. But he did offer a little glimmer of hope.
Okay, good. What's that?
He mentioned that Amazon's own AI chips are going to be coming out. They're going to be released in the second half of 2025.
Okay, so maybe easy some of the brand.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly. But on top of the chip shortage, there's another layer of complexity.
Oh, no.
Geopolitics.
Oh, right.
He's concerned about how international relations and chip restrictions
This is interesting.
could actually slow down AI development for the U.S.
For everyone.
Yeah, for U.S. companies and their allies.
It's like this intersection of
Technology, economic.
global power.
Yeah, global power dynamic.
He brought up Microsoft's call for a review of AI diffusion rules. Remember that?
Yeah, it sounds like they're worried about falling behind.
An AI race.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jassy makes this crucial point restricting access to the latest technology.
Could backfire.
Big time. It could backfire,
Yeah.
potentially give an advantage to, like, China.
Right.
It's tough. It's a delicate balancing act.
Between national security
Yeah.
and fostering innovation. Right, you need both.
And just when you think we've covered it all,
He drops another one.
Amazon is going headfirst into
On computing.
quantum computing, another field with, like,
Mind-blowing potential.
mind-blowing potential.
They even announced their first quantum computing chip. Exciting.
But he is realistic about the timeline.
Yes, he is.
He acknowledges the incredible possibilities, of course,
right.
but says widespread practical applications are still a few years away,
At least.
maybe even a decade,
It's interesting how Amazon's estimate is more conservative.
than other companies.
Yeah, like Microsoft. They seem a bit more optimistic about the near-term impact.
It's interesting how even the experts,
Have different views on when this is really going to take off.
it shows you that we're really in the early stages of this quantum computing thing.
Very early. And the future. The future is wide open.
Yeah. Crazy to think about.
It is.
So much going on.
It is.
It really is amazing to think about how quantum computing could change things. But for now, let's come back to the present.
Yeah, good idea.
We were just talking about those, like, different timelines for quantum computing.
Yeah.
And it just shows you that with these emerging technologies,
There's no roadmap
no roadmap.
for success.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating.
I agree.
We're watching this whole technological revolution unfold in real time, and Amazon's right in the middle of it with their massive AI investments, Alexa Plus.
And all those geopolitical tensions.
Exactly. These are not isolated events. These are all connected.
Pieces of a bigger puzzle.
So are you saying that to understand what's happening with AI,
Yeah,
we need to look beyond just Amazon,
absolutely. This is a global thing.
like a global phenomenon?
Yeah, for sure. Take the chip shortage.
Oh, right. That's global, too.
Jesse mentioned it.
Yeah. He said it was slowing down AI development
Not just for Amazon,
of everyone.
for the whole tech industry. And this scarcity of essential components.
Has like a ripple effect.
Yeah, a ripple effect could really change the balance of power in the tech world.
Oh, wow. So if these huge tech companies are struggling to get the chips they need,
Right. Imagine what that means.
what does that mean for us? Like the average person?
Should we be worried? I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard to say. It's too early to know what the long-term impact will be.
but it's interesting to think about.
But one thing is for sure, AI is here to stay.
AI to stay.
And it's going to change how we live and work.
In ways we can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
So it's kind of exciting, but also a little scary because AI could, like, help us solve these huge problems, but also,
Unforeseen consequences, yeah.
yeah, you never know.
That's true with any powerful technology.
I think that's a really good point.
The key is to approach AI development thoughtfully, ethically,
With awareness.
with awareness.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to Amazon.
Yeah, back to Amazon. What were we saying about Amazon?
Well, Jassy's vision is ambitious, but it's also
Practical.
practical. Exactly. He's not just chasing quick wins.
He's building something sustainable.
Yeah, an ecosystem for innovation. This reminds me of what he said about generative AI.
How it's always,
Learning, improving.
like, evolving.
Yeah, in real time. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's a feedback loop.
The more data you feed these models, the more they learn.
So AI is teaching itself.
Or giving it the tools.
That is both amazing.
And a little unsettling, yeah.
Yeah. It really makes you think.
It does raise some big questions about, like, what does it mean to be intelligent?
And what will our role be in an AI-driven world?
Exactly. But maybe let's not get too philosophical.
Okay, fair enough.
We can save that for another time. Let's go back to another important thing Jassy talked about.
Okay, what's that?
The geopolitical implications of AI.
Yeah, he was concerned about those chip restrictions.
How they could put U.S. companies at a disadvantage.
It's like a battle
A battle for AI dominance.
between the U.S. and China.
It's not just about dominance, though.
What is it about then?
It's about who gets to shape the future of AI.
And making sure it's developed responsibly.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Jassy's comments show how complex it all is.
This relationship between technology and economics and national security, it's a lot
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
with all this happening.
What can we do as individuals?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do we need to learn to code, invest in AI startups, or just hide and hope for the best?
Maybe just hide.
Tempting, I know.
It is tempting.
But I think the most important thing is to stay informed.
Stay informed.
Engage in conversations about how AI impacts society.
The world is changing so
It
fast.
can be adaptable.
Curious.
I like that.
Open to new things. Just like AI is learning and evolving, so can we.
Exactly.
Speaking of learning, Jassy used a phrase that I thought was interesting.
What was that?
He called it general AI.
Yeah, he said Alexa Plus is the first practical, large-scale application of general AI for consumers.
What does he mean by that?
Good question. The AI we're used to is usually task-specific, like the algorithm that recommends your music or facial recognition software.
Okay, so those are just good at one thing.
Yeah, one specific task.
But they're not generally intelligent.
Not really, no.
So general AI is
More.
Yeah, it can do more.
More things, exactly.
I see.
It's sometimes called artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
Right.
And it means the AI system has human-level cognitive abilities like learning, reasoning,
I'm solving.
decision-making, even creativity. It can do it all.
Wow, that sounds like...
Science fiction.
Is that even possible?
It's considered the holy grail of AI research.
Wow.
Still a long way off.
So we're not quite there yet.
But Jassy's saying that Alexa Plus is a step toward general AI. That's interesting.
Yeah, what do you think he means by that?
Well, he's suggesting that this next generation of AI assistant is more than just a bunch of algorithms.
It's capable of learning to a wider range of tasks and situations.
And anything we've seen before.
So instead of telling Alexa Plus to turn on the lights, we could actually have a real conversation with it.
Ask for advice.
Brainstorm ideas.
Exactly, the ultimate promise of general AI.
A truly intelligent assistant.
That understands us.
Anticipates our needs.
Helps us navigate life.
Makes life easier.
In a more intuitive way.
That sounds amazing.
It does.
But if AI gets that smart,
What does it mean for us?
will we be obsolete?
Another good question. That's been debated for decades.
Big implications.
Enormous.
This deep dive is really making me think.
Me too. And we're not even done yet.
Oh, right, there's more.
We've explored Alexa plus Pro, the chip shortage, geopolitics.
But there's one more thing.
One more crucial thing from Jassy's interview.
What's that?
Amazon's long-term vision for AI. How it could disrupt all kinds of industries.
Like healthcare.
Education, manufacturing, retail.
AI's impact will be everywhere.
Everywhere. Stay with us as we dive into the future of tech and explore the power of AI.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we took a break there, we were talking about general AI
Yeah.
and how it could, change what it means to be human.
Right.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah, it really is. But, while general AI might be a ways off, Jassy did have some interesting thoughts on how AI is already impacting different industries.
What'd he say?
He thinks it's going to be transformative, basically.
Yeah.
In pretty much every sector.
Give me some examples.
Healthcare, education, manufacturing, retail.
So what, robots taking our jobs? Is that what we're talking about here, or?
He sees AI more as a tool to help us do things better.
Okay.
Not necessarily replace us altogether.
Oh. Okay, so
How? Imagine a doctor using AI to diagnose diseases more accurately.
Right.
Or a teacher using AI to personalize lessons for each student.
So AI is making people better at their jobs.
Yeah, more efficient, more effective.
Okay, I can see that.
But what about industries where automation's already happening,
Manufacturing.
Yeah, or transportation?
Are those going to be the first to go?
It's true that automation is changing those industries.
Yeah.
And AI is going to be a big part of it.
Right.
But Jassy's point is that this could also create new opportunities.
Okay, I like that.
As robots take over those repetitive tasks or, dangerous ones,
Right.
Humans can focus on more, creative stuff,
The strategic stuff.
Right, designing the systems.
I see. So it's not eliminating jobs altogether. It's more
Changing them.
changing the types of jobs.
Exactly.
And that requires us to, learn new skills.
Yeah, be lifelong learners.
I like that. Lifelong learners.
Jassy thinks companies have a responsibility here, too.
What do you mean?
To invest in their employees, to help them...
Thrive.
Yeah, thrive in this new AI world.
And it seems like Amazon's actually doing that.
Yeah.
Jassy mentioned a program.
What kind of program?
Where fulfillment center employees can get advanced education.
Like college.
For free.
That's awesome.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is.
They are.
I like that.
That's a great example of how companies can address these challenges,
Yeah.
Be proactive. Help people become valuable.
But it's not just on companies, right?
No, individuals need to step up too.
So what should we be doing? Should we all be learning to code?
Well, technical skills are important,
Right.
But Jassy highlights some other things.
Like what?
Critical thinking, problem solving, adaptability.
I feel like those are good life skills in general,
They are.
not just for AI.
Exactly. It's about being well-rounded, adaptable.
So not necessarily tech wizards.
Right, but you got to have a growth mindset, be curious, willing to learn.
This deep dive has really made me think about AI differently.
How so?
It's not just about robots taking over.
Great.
It's about, like, helping humans achieve more.
Creating a better future.
Exactly.
That's a great way to put it.
It's powerful.
It is.
It's easy to get caught up in all the hype and fear, but really,
It's a tool.
a tool.
Like any tool.
You can use it for good or bad.
And we need to make sure it's used for good.
So what's the takeaway here for everyone listening?
I'd ask them to think about this. If AI is going to transform everything,
Yeah.
what role do we want to play in that?
Right. Do we want to just watch it happen?
Or do we want to help shape it?
I like that.
Yeah.
Shape the future. That's a great question.
That's a big one.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Amazon's AI strategy.
My pleasure.
It's been eye-opening,
Absolutely.
thought-provoking.
Yeah, lots to think about.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
The global race for AI dominance just hit a fascinating turning point. A Chinese startup called DeepSeek has managed to outperform U.S. tech giants while using just a fraction of the computing power, sending Silicon Valley into a panic.
You know what's wild about that? It completely upends the assumption that dominating AI requires massive resources and infrastructure. How exactly did they pull this off?
Well, it comes down to a fundamentally different approach to AI development. While U.S. companies like OpenAI have been throwing enormous computing power at the problem, DeepSeek focused on efficiency and optimization.
That's really shaken things up in the industry, hasn't it? I mean, we saw tech stocks actually plunge when this news broke.
Exactly, and it's forced everyone to rethink their strategies. Even French President Macron is now calling for Europe to dramatically simplify their AI regulations, which is pretty surprising coming from a European leader.
Though I have to wonder if deregulation is really the answer. The EU put those safeguards in place for some pretty good reasons.
That's the fascinating tension at the heart of this story. Europe is trying to thread this incredibly difficult needle, maintaining safety standards while also staying competitive in what's essentially becoming a new technological arms race.
And the stakes couldn't be higher. I mean, we're talking about a technology that's already consuming 20% of global R&D budgets. That's about $1 billion every single day.
You know what's particularly interesting? The way different regions are approaching this challenge. The U.S. under Trump just announced a massive $500 billion AI infrastructure plan, while China has already integrated AI into their school curriculum.
So they're literally preparing their next generation from the ground up. That's some serious long-term thinking.
And then you have India emerging as this potential dark horse in the race. They co-hosted the Paris Summit, and they're really pushing to ensure AI development considers the needs of the global South.
That's such a crucial point. How do we ensure this technology doesn't just widen the gap between rich and poor nations?
Well, there are actually some encouraging signs on that front. Places like Kenya and Uganda are developing tech hubs that are finding innovative ways to implement AI solutions that fit their specific needs.
That's interesting because it suggests maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Instead of one global AI race, we might be seeing the emergence of multiple parallel tracks of development.
Right, kind of like how European and American cars evolved differently based on their different needs and resources. DeepSeek's success really demonstrates that there's more than one way to approach AI development.
Though I imagine the military implications of all this are keeping some people up at night. We're already seeing AI-powered autonomous drones in conflict zones.
That's definitely one of the darker aspects of this technology. The United Nations has had multiple sessions specifically addressing the risks of autonomous weapons systems. And it's not just about military applications. There are concerns about AI potentially making decisions that affect human life.
You know what fascinates me about this whole situation? The environmental angle. Macron's actually using France's nuclear power capabilities as a selling point for AI development.
That's a really clever angle, positioning France as a green AI powerhouse. The massive energy requirements for traditional AI development are becoming a serious concern. Some estimates suggest training a single large language model can generate as much carbon as 5 cars over their entire lifetimes.
That really puts DeepSeek's efficiency innovations in perspective, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it highlights why this isn't just about technological supremacy. It's about finding sustainable ways to develop these technologies. The US approach of throwing massive computing power at the problem might not be viable in the long term.
So, what do you think this means for the future of AI development globally?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot more diversity in approaches. The idea that there's one right way to develop AI is already being challenged. We might end up with different regions specializing in different aspects of AI development based on their particular strengths and resources.
And maybe that's actually better for everyone in the long run, having multiple approaches rather than one dominant model.
Exactly. The real breakthrough might not come from who has the biggest computers or the most data, but from who can find the most elegant and efficient solutions to these challenges.
That's a pretty optimistic way to look at it.
Well, consider this. Every major technological revolution in history has eventually spread beyond its original pioneers. The question isn't really whether other countries will catch up in AI development, but how they'll adapt and implement the technology to suit their own needs and circumstances.
And that's probably where the most interesting innovations will come from. Not just replicating what's already been done, but finding entirely new applications and approaches.
Looking ahead, I think we're going to see some surprising developments from unexpected places. The next big AI breakthrough might not come from Silicon Valley or Beijing. It could come from Bangalore or Nairobi or somewhere we're not even looking at yet.
That's what makes this such an exciting time to be following these developments.
And that's really the key takeaway here. While the headlines might focus on the competition between the US and China, the real story is how AI development is becoming increasingly diverse and decentralized. That's probably better for everyone in the long run.